The Midnight Express. Full story. The clock struck 12. A thick, suffocating fog crawled over the empty tracks of Platform 4. Mark stood alone, his breath turning into mist in the freezing night air. The station was dead. No staff, no lights, just the rhythmic dripping of water from a rusted pipe. He had missed the last train home, or so he thought. From the depths of the darkness, a low metallic hum began to vibrate through the soles of his shoes. A single dim yellow headlight pierced the fog. A train was coming, but it didn't sound like any train Mark had ever heard. There was no screeching of brakes, no roar of an engine. It glided onto the platform like a ghost sliding into a grave. It was an old steam engine, its metal skin peeling like burnt flesh. The doors hissed open. Mark stepped inside. The interior was draped in heavy red velvet. The air smelled of old dust and funeral flowers. As the train began to move, Mark noticed the other passengers. They sat perfectly still in the dim, flickering light. They were dressed in clothes from the 1920s, tall hats, long coats, and lace veils. "Excuse me," Mark said to a man sitting near the door. "Is this the express to the city?" The man didn't answer. He didn't even move. Mark reached out to touch his shoulder, but his hand passed straight through the fabric, feeling nothing but a soul-chilling cold. Mark pulled back, his heart hammering against his ribs. He looked closer. The man had no eyes, only deep black hollows that seemed to suck the light out of the room. Suddenly, the train jerked. Outside the window, the station was gone. The city was gone. There was only a red, glowing abyss. The train was accelerating, moving faster than any machine should. Mark ran toward the next carriage, desperate to find a way out. He pushed through the heavy doors, but he found himself in the exact same carriage he had just left. He tried the next door. Same carriage. The woman in the veil was still there. The man with the hollow eyes was still there. He was trapped in a loop. He looked at the floor and saw a discarded newspaper. The ink was fresh, but the date was May 9th, 1926. The headline screamed, "Night train disappears into thin air, no survivors found." At that moment, the passengers stood up. Slowly, their joints cracked like breaking wood. They turned toward Mark, their eyeless faces tilting in unison. They didn't speak, but their voices filled his head. 1,000 whispers of people who had been dead for a century, all begging for one thing. "Give us your life, so we can go home." Mark backed away, hitting the glass of the rear window. The passengers were closing in, their translucent hands reaching for him. He saw a red emergency lever. He pulled it, but instead of stopping, the train began to tear apart. The walls dissolved into smoke. The floor turned into a void. Mark felt a cold hand grab his ankle. He screamed and kicked, throwing himself through the breaking glass into the darkness. He fell for what felt like hours. When he opened his eyes, the sun was stinging his face. He was lying on the cold, hard gravel of Platform 4. The station was busy with morning commuters. A security guard was shaking him. "Hey, kid, you can't sleep here. Move along." Mark stood up, shaking and confused. It was just a dream. It had to be. He reached into his pocket to grab his phone, but his fingers touched something cold and heavy. He pulled it out. It was an old tarnished brass ticket, punched with a date from 100 years ago, and on the back, written in fresh wet ink, were the words, "See you tomorrow at midnight." If this story sent a chill down your spine, don't forget to like the video and subscribe to our channel for more terrifying mysteries. Click the bell icon so you never miss the next train into the unknown. Thanks for watching. If you dare,